Ladies and gentlemen, people often ask me, how can I become the best? They think success is about talent, luck, or some secret formula. But let me tell you the truth. It is about habits, discipline, and a way of thinking that never gives up. So today, I will share with you 10 ways to become the best at anything. Start with a strong purpose. If you don't know why you are doing something, you will quit the first time you face failure. Purpose gives you energy when the world doubts you. Stay hungry to learn. Knowledge is everywhere, but only those who stay curious and humble enough to learn will grow. The moment you think you know everything, you stop improving. Practice more than others. Greatness is not born, it is built. The best people in any field are those who practiced when others were sleeping or relaxing. Practice until your skills feel like breathing. Turn failures into teachers. Every mistake is a lesson in disguise. Don't run away from failure. Welcome it. Ask yourself, what can I learn from this? That's how you grow faster than others. Surround yourself with the right people. If your friends always tell you it's impossible, you will believe them. But if your circle challenges you, pushes you, and believes in you, you will reach higher levels. Stay patient, but never stop moving. Success doesn't happen overnight. The tree you plant today may take years to bear fruit. But if you water it every single day, it will grow strong and tall. Focus like a laser. You cannot be the best at everything, but you can be the best at one thing. Don't scatter your energy. Concentrate it. Master one area and the world will notice. Adapt to change. The world keeps changing, and if you don't change, you will be left behind. Be flexible. Embrace new ideas and learn to see opportunity in uncertainty. Work harder than you are paid for. If you only do what you are paid to do, you will never stand out. Go the extra mile. Give more value than people expect. That's how you become unforgettable. Never lose your heart. At the top, skills matter. But what matters even more is character. Stay kind, stay honest, and stay humble. Because in the long run, people don't just remember what you achieved, they remember who you are. My friends, the best are not superhuman. They are simply ordinary people with extraordinary determination. Follow these 10 ways, and one day, people will look at you and say, this person is the best. When you want to be the best at anything, the very first step is to discover and hold on to a strong purpose. Purpose is not just a nice word that sounds good in books. It is the fuel that keeps you moving when everything else seems to push you back. Many people start something because it looks glamorous, because others are doing it, or because they believe it will bring them quick success. But the truth is, when challenges come, when rejection hits, or when failure knocks at the door, only those with a clear reason will stay. Think about it this way. If you are climbing a mountain just because it looks beautiful, you may stop halfway when your legs start hurting. But if you are climbing that mountain because at the top lies something deeply important to you, something you truly value, you will push through the pain. Purpose gives your effort meaning. And when your work has meaning, you can endure storms that would break ordinary people. It transforms hard work into passion and converts obstacles into stepping stones. Without purpose, success feels like running in circles with no direction. With purpose, even small progress feels valuable because you know where you are going. Purpose also gives you confidence. When others laugh at you or call your dream unrealistic, you can smile because you are not living for their approval. You know why you are on the journey, and that knowledge becomes your shield. Many successful people were told they could not achieve what they dreamed of, but their purpose was stronger than the voices of doubt. That is why purpose must not come from outside. It has to come from deep within you. No one else can give it to you, and if you borrow it from someone else, it will not last. To find your purpose, ask yourself, what makes me excited even if no one pays me? What problem do I want to solve for the world? What dream would I chase even if I failed 100 times? The answers may not come instantly, but if you search honestly, you will discover them. Once you do, your journey towards becoming the best will not be a burden, but a mission. And a mission is always stronger than comfort or convenience. Staying hungry to learn is one of the most powerful ways to rise above the average and become the best in any field. The moment you believe you already know enough, you shut the door to growth. And in a fast, changing world, that is the beginning of decline. Knowledge is like water. It flows constantly, and if you don't keep drinking, you dry out. People who reach the top are not necessarily the most talented from the start. They are the ones who never stopped being curious, who kept asking questions, and who treated every situation as a classroom. Learning is not only about reading books or sitting in lectures. It is about observing, listening, and absorbing from every experience and every person you meet. Sometimes a small piece of advice from someone you least expect can transform the way you think or work. Curiosity keeps your mind sharp and your creativity alive. It helps you discover new methods, new tools, and new ways to solve old problems. The world is constantly evolving with new technologies, new trends, and new ideas. If you cling only to what you already know, you risk becoming outdated. But if you are willing to learn every day, you stay relevant and valuable. True hunger to learn also means humility. It means admitting that no matter how successful you become, there are always things you don't know. Humble people learn faster because they are open, while arrogant people close the doors of growth with their ego. Learning requires effort. It may mean sacrificing comfort, spending extra hours studying, practicing, or seeking feedback that may hurt your pride but sharpen your skills. The more you learn, the more opportunities open for you, and opportunities only favor those who are prepared. Think of it like this: if life gives you a key to a big opportunity tomorrow, you will only be able to use it if you already know how to turn it. That ability comes from learning. So staying hungry for knowledge is not just about collecting information. It is about shaping yourself into someone who can rise to any challenge and turn uncertainty into success. Practice more than others, because practice is the bridge between your dream and your reality. People admire those who are at the top of their field, whether it is business, sports, art, or science. But what they often don't see is the countless hours behind the scenes where no one was watching. Natural talent may give you a small advantage in the beginning, but without practice, even the most gifted people are quickly overtaken by those who dedicate themselves to consistent effort. Every skill sharpens with repetition, and the more you practice, the more natural it becomes until it feels like part of your identity. When others stop after doing something once or twice, You keep repeating it until mistakes disappear and confidence takes over. That is how experts are built. Practice is not always exciting. In fact, it is often boring and painful. But it is during these moments of repetition that greatness is formed. The best athletes keep shooting, running, and training when the stadium is empty. The best musicians keep playing the same notes again and again until their fingers bleed. The best leaders keep refining their communication, their strategy, and their decisions long before people notice them. When you practice more than others, you not only improve your skill, but also develop resilience, discipline, and patience. Every extra hour you dedicate adds to your edge over those who stop early. Success is rarely about one big moment. It is about a collection of small improvements built over time. Consistent practice also builds muscle memory, which means when pressure comes, you don't panic. You perform naturally because your body and mind have already mastered the process. Many people dream of being the best, but only a few are willing to practice like the best. You cannot just want success. You must prepare for it by doing the hard and unseen work every single day. The truth is, you may not control how talented you are compared to someone else, but you can always control how much you practice. That choice is completely in your hands. And if you choose to put in more hours, more focus, and more effort than others, eventually the results will show and you will stand out. Turning failures into teachers is one of the most valuable skills you can develop if you want to become the best at anything. Failure is something most people fear, but those who succeed see it differently. They understand that every setback carries a lesson, every rejection hides an opportunity, and every mistake is a hidden classroom. When you fail, the world is giving you feedback. It is telling you what doesn't work, what needs to change, and where you need to grow. The problem is that many people let failure break them instead of shape them. They see one closed door and assume all doors will be closed forever. But the truth is, failure is not the end. It is a signal to try another way. If you study the journey of anyone who became the best, you will find a trail of failures behind their success. Each failure taught them something they could never have learned from comfort. Pain forced them to improve. Rejection forced them to grow thicker skin, and mistakes forced them to sharpen their strategies. Failure is not your enemy. It is your greatest teacher if you are humble enough to listen. Instead of asking, why me? When you fail, start asking, what can I learn from this? That small shift in mindset will turn your frustration into wisdom. Sometimes failure teaches you patience, reminding you that great things take time. Sometimes it teaches you persistence, pushing you to fight harder when everything feels impossible. Sometimes it teaches you humility, showing you that no matter how skilled you think you are, there is always room for improvement. When you turn failure into a teacher, you stop fearing it. You begin to see it as part of the process, not a permanent mark of defeat. This makes you bold because you know even if you fall, you will rise stronger. Most people never reach their potential because they give up too early, but those who embrace failure as a stepping stone eventually reach heights others only dream of. Remember, the path to mastery is paved with mistakes, but those mistakes are not signs of weakness. They are signs of progress, proof that you are moving, learning, and getting closer to becoming the best Surrounding yourself with the right people can completely transform your journey toward becoming the best at anything. The people you spend time with have a powerful influence on your mindset, your energy, and even your belief in what is possible. If you constantly stay around those who complain, doubt, or discourage, their negativity will slowly infect your thinking. And without even realizing it, you will begin to lower your standards. On the other hand, if you choose to be around people who are ambitious, disciplined, and supportive, you will naturally rise to their level. Human beings are deeply shaped by their environment, and your circle either pushes you forward or holds you back. That is why successful people are very intentional about who they spend time with. The right people do more than just cheer for you. They challenge you to think bigger, to act smarter, and to keep going when you feel like quitting. They give you honest feedback, not to hurt you, but to help you grow. They believe in your vision even when others laugh at it, and that belief gives you strength. Sometimes you may find that your closest friends or even family members cannot see your dream the way you do. That does not mean you should cut them off, but it does mean you must carefully protect your energy and seek out those who lift you up instead of pulling you down. Surrounding yourself with mentors, role models, and peers who are ahead of you will also accelerate your growth because you can learn from their mistakes and their wisdom. You do not have to walk the path alone or reinvent every step when others have already gone through it. Being around driven people also creates accountability because when everyone in your circle is working hard, you will feel inspired to do the same. Mediocrity feels uncomfortable in a group of high achievers, and that discomfort pushes you to grow. Choosing the right company is not about finding perfect people, but about finding those who align with your values and your vision. Over time, their influence shapes your habits, and your habits shape your future. If you want to become the best, make sure your environment is filled with people who encourage your growth, challenge your limits, and believe that your dream is worth chasing. Staying patient, but never stopping is one of the most essential principles for anyone who wants to become the best at anything. Patience does not mean sitting still and waiting for success to fall into your lap. It means understanding that greatness takes time and being willing to keep moving forward even when results are not immediate. Too many people quit because they expect overnight success, and when it doesn't come, they lose motivation. But if you study anyone who has achieved mastery, you will see years of effort, sacrifice, and persistence behind their achievements. Patience gives you the strength to keep watering the seeds you have planted even when you cannot yet see the tree. Progress is often invisible in the beginning, but that does not mean it is not happening. Every small step, every practice session, every late night of work is adding up, preparing you for the breakthrough moment that will come if you don't give up. At the same time, patience should not be confused with laziness or passivity. Being patient is about steady, consistent action. It is about continuing to take steps forward, no matter how small, instead of rushing and burning out. It is the ability to stay calm during delays, setbacks, or slow progress while maintaining your focus on the long-term goal. The journey to becoming the best will test your patience repeatedly because results often come later than expected. And the path is filled with obstacles. But when you train yourself to see the bigger picture, you will not be shaken by temporary struggles. Patience also protects you from frustration, because instead of demanding immediate rewards, you learn to enjoy the process. You find satisfaction in the effort itself, not just in the final outcome. And when you combine patience with persistence, you become unstoppable, because nothing can discourage you from moving forward. Even when progress is slow, you are still moving, and slow progress is always better than no progress. The truth is, success is not for those who move the fastest in the beginning. It is for those who keep moving steadily until the end. If you can master patience and persistence together, you will eventually surpass those who started faster but gave up along the way. Focusing like a laser is about directing your energy, time, and attention toward one clear goal without letting distractions pull you away. Many people fail to become the best, not because they lack talent or effort, but because they scatter their focus across too many things at once. They try to chase multiple goals, switch directions often, and end up average in everything instead of excellent in one. Focus is the secret weapon that allows ordinary people to achieve extraordinary results. When you concentrate on one area, you give yourself the chance to master it deeply, to understand its details, and to build skills that others who are distracted will never develop. Just like a magnifying glass can turn sunlight into fire when it is focused on one point, your potential can ignite only when you channel it into a single direction. Focus also creates momentum. When your energy is spread thin, progress feels slow, but when you direct it all toward one goal, the results begin to multiply. This does not mean you cannot have multiple interests in life, but if you want to become the best, you must prioritize the one thing that matters most and give it your best attention. Distractions today are more dangerous than ever, with endless notifications, entertainment, and temptations constantly fighting for your mind. Learning to say no to distractions is just as important as saying yes to your dream. Discipline in focus means cutting out what does not serve your mission, even if it looks attractive in the moment. It also means resisting the temptation to compare yourself with others who are on different paths. Instead of trying to do what everyone else is doing, you concentrate on sharpening your edge in your chosen field. Focus is not only about effort, but also about clarity. You need to be very clear about what you want to achieve and why it matters, because without clarity, your mind will easily drift. Once you have that clarity, your actions become purposeful, and every hour you spend moves you closer to mastery. Over time, the world rewards those who stand out in one thing, not those who are halfway good at many. If you can focus like a laser, your energy will not be wasted, your progress will not be scattered, and your chances of becoming the best will multiply beyond measure. Adapting to change is a skill that separates those who survive from those who thrive. And if you want to become the best at anything, you must learn how to embrace change instead of fearing it. The world around us is never still. Technology evolves. Industries shift. Opportunities disappear. And new ones are born almost every day. What worked yesterday may not work tomorrow. And if you hold on too tightly to old ways, you risk being left behind. Many people struggle because they resist change. They become too comfortable with routine and too afraid to step into the unknown. But those who rise to the top are the ones who see change as a chance to grow. They do not complain when circumstances shift. They adjust their mindset, learn new skills, and find new paths. Adaptability requires flexibility in thinking, because you cannot always control what happens to you, but you can always control how you respond. Instead of asking why things are changing, ask how you can use the change to your advantage. Every disruption carries opportunity, and those who move quickly to adapt are the ones who benefit the most. Change often feels uncomfortable because it forces you out of familiar territory, but discomfort is a sign of growth. When you embrace it, you develop resilience and creativity, because adapting requires you to think differently and find solutions you never considered before. The best innovators and leaders are not those who knew all the answers from the beginning, but those who adjusted their strategies as the world shifted. They learned, unlearned, and relearned continuously. Being adaptable also means staying curious and willing to learn new tools, new methods, and even new mindsets. It means letting go of the fear of failure, because trying something new always carries risk, but refusing to try guarantees stagnation. Adapting to change does not mean abandoning your core purpose or values. It means being flexible in your approach while staying firm in your mission. Just like a tree bends with the wind to avoid breaking, you must be willing to bend with circumstances to keep moving forward. The more quickly you adapt, the more prepared you are for the opportunities that others miss because they are too busy resisting what they cannot stop. Working harder than you are paid for is one of the smartest investments you can make in yourself if you want to become the best at anything. Too often people measure their effort only by the salary or recognition they receive, thinking they should only give as much as they are rewarded for. But those who rise to the top understand that excellence is built by going beyond expectations, by delivering more than what is asked, and by creating value before anyone notices. When you consistently give more effort than the situation demands, you stand out because most people do only the bare minimum. Employers, clients, and even teammates quickly recognize the difference between someone who works only for a paycheck and someone who works with pride and ownership. That extra mile you walk does not just build your reputation, it builds your skills, because every extra task, every additional challenge, and every bit of effort sharpens your ability. Over time, these extra hours accumulate into mastery, giving you an edge that money alone cannot buy. Working harder than you are paid for is also a reflection of character, because it shows discipline, integrity, and commitment. Even when no one is watching, you give your best, and that habit eventually creates trust. People begin to see you as reliable, as someone who delivers results without excuses, and that trust opens new doors of opportunity. Many promotions, partnerships, and breakthroughs are not the result of luck, but the result of consistent over-delivery. At the same time, this mindset requires patience, because the reward may not come immediately. In the short term, you might feel underappreciated, but in the long term, your value becomes undeniable. Life always rewards those who invest more than they take. Working harder than you are paid for also builds resilience, because it trains you to work for growth rather than comfort. You stop being limited by the idea of fairness and start focusing on becoming the kind of person who can handle bigger responsibilities and greater challenges. The world does not promote people based on what they are paid for now. It promotes those who show they are ready for more. If you continue to give more effort, more energy, and more value than expected, sooner or later opportunities will chase you instead of you chasing them. Never losing your heart is perhaps the most important element in becoming the best at anything, because at the end of the journey, it is not only about skills, achievements, or recognition, but about the kind of person you become along the way. Skills can make you successful, but it is your heart that keeps you grounded, kind, and respected. Many people reach high positions, but lose themselves in the process, forgetting the values that once guided them. True greatness is not just about being at the top. It is about staying humble, compassionate, and genuine even when you have power, wealth, or influence. When you never lose your heart, you treat people with respect regardless of their status. You remain honest in your work even when shortcuts are available. And you hold on to kindness even in a world that sometimes feels cold. Success without heart may look impressive from the outside, but it rarely brings lasting fulfillment. On the other hand, when your achievements are built on integrity and kindness, they carry a different kind of strength, a strength that inspires others and leaves a legacy that goes beyond personal gain. Never losing your heart also means staying connected to your purpose and your passion, because success can sometimes distract you with comfort and pride. It is easy to forget why you started when you finally begin to enjoy the results, but your heart reminds you of your mission and keeps you aligned with what truly matters. In tough times, it gives you courage because you know you are not just working for money or recognition, but for something meaningful. In good times, it gives you humility because you remember that your success is not only about your own effort, but also about the support, opportunities, and blessings that came your way. The world is full of people who are skilled and talented, but it deeply values those who combine talent with a good heart. These are the people others trust, admire, and want to follow. If you want to become the best, make sure you guard your heart as carefully as you sharpen your skills. Because in the end, people may forget what you did, but they will never forget how you made them feel. Ladies and gentlemen, becoming the best at anything is not about luck, shortcuts, or secret formulas. It is about the choices you make every single day. It is about holding on to a strong purpose, staying hungry to learn, practicing more than anyone else, and treating failures as lessons instead of defeats. It is about surrounding yourself with people who push you higher, staying patient yet persistent, focusing your energy like a laser, and adapting when the world changes around you. It is about working harder than you are paid for, and never losing your heart, no matter how far you rise. These are not complicated ideas, but they require discipline, commitment, and courage to live by. If you can make them part of your life, you will not only become the best in your field, you will also become the kind of person others respect, admire, and remember. The path is challenging, but those who walk it with determination and heart will always stand out from the crowd. The question is not whether you can become the best. The question is whether you are willing to take these steps and stay true to them until the end